I'm going to hell. Hole Gorge National Park. The park is located in the arid mulga lands of central Queensland. It's a remote area park, so you must be fully self-sufficient and have a four-wheel drive to access it. Access is during dry weather only. And I'd say with the drought that's on, that shouldn't be an issue. The park is located around 70 kilometres northwest of Adavale, or 900 kilometres west of Brisbane. There's a board in the main road which tells you whether the tracks are open. I checked yesterday and all is well. Adavale is the gateway into Hellhole National Park. It's a community of around 25 people. Back around 1900 it had 2,500 people, so it's reduced in size quite dramatically. But it's got a pub, it's got a one officer police station, it's also got the old cemetery and the old tip site, which ranges from 1870s up to 1950s. So if you're interested in finding old bottles and tins, that's the place to go. So let's get ready and head on in.
Adavale has Telstra phone reception, so I booked my camping permit online at the Queensland Parks and Wildlife Service website before departing. One of my subscribers told me about Hellhole Gorge, and as I was in Charleville at the time, I thought I'd take a detour and check it out. The park was only publicly opened in 2015 after a new road was constructed to provide public throughfare through Milo Station. It was formerly a pastoral property that was gazetted a national park back in 1992 to protect some of the mulga lands. I'm excited about visiting this park, as having been protected for so long and only so recently being open to the public, it should be in a fairly natural, pristine state, unlike many parks which are degraded from over-visitation. The road passes through Milo Station. By the mid-1800s, it was the largest sheep station in the world. These days, cattle roam the land, so it's important to keep your eyes out and slow down if there's a mob by the side of the road. I'm starting to wonder what I've gotten myself into. These red, arid desert sands are quite hellish after all.
Still travelling along. Sometimes I just had to pull over because the dust storm just kicks up and it's just too thick to see the road. So I pulled off to the side of the road. Make sure you never stop in the middle of the road because that would be very dangerous. Could be someone still coming up behind you. Looks like it's clear enough now, so keep on heading.
The park is well signposted, so it should be near impossible to get lost. Outback temperatures can vary widely. This morning I was freezing cold, but now I'm getting quite hot. The park is fenced to keep the neighbouring cattle out, so be sure to close the gate after entering. So we're in Hellhole Gorge National Park now, and the first sight to see is Spencer's Waterhole day use area. And by the looks of it, some of these creek crossings I passed through, there's actually been water in it, so it'll be good to see. It's not too much further to go. The road's in pretty good condition, a little dusty in some places, so you just want to watch those, make sure you don't hit them at speed. But otherwise, it's a beautiful track out here. Just knocking up a quick damper, pulled off into the shade, so I should have some nice damper ready for tonight. Did a quick mix around, I threw in some sultanas as well. I'm going to mix in just a spoonful of instant milk powder, just for a bit of extra creaminess. Added the salt already, and some coconut flour. Mix in the water. Finished mixing. Now it's just to knead it up quickly, and that'll be done. Bit windy for this, but gotta do what I gotta do. I'll stick that in the Travel Buddy oven, and 2.5 hours later I'll have a nice fresh loaf of damper. While that's cooking, I'll go check out Spencer's Waterhole and see what's here. The 12,700 hectares of National Park protects the rugged Powell Creek drainage system. Powell and Spencer's creeks have carved their way through the plateau over the thousands of years, creating the gorge. I've just pulled up here in the middle of the road to show you one of these dust holes you want to watch out for. It's very fine powdery-like soil. You don't want to hit it at high speed, so you either go to the sides or slow down for it. You don't know what's hard bits are underneath or how deep it might be. But I'll drive through and show you just how powdery it is. The crossing of Powell Creek provides the only real 4x4 challenge, but it's very simple. I always traverse these obstacles very slowly due to my SIL fuel tank on the side. I don't want to risk ripping it open on a rock. "100 meters upstream provides the safest crossing. There are various signs and markers leading the way. Well, I appear to have made it into the campgrounds.
There's no signage around to actually say it is the campgrounds, but I've done a bit of a loop around the different tracks and this is it. So I pulled up and I got my damper out ready to go. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. I'll tuck into this when it starts to cool down a bit more.
No store-bought bread can compete with freshly baked damper. There's nothing better in the bush. I rise early to meet the local residents of Hellhole. I get a short respite from the previous day's winds. The lushness of Powell Creek contrasts sharply with the surrounding rugged plateau. It's like a meandering oasis, bringing safety to the local wildlife. No trip to Hellhole Waterhole would be complete without climbing Big Rock. Why? Because it's there.
I'm here at one of the several different waterholes within Hellhole Gorge. Virtually anywhere along the gorge there'll be different sections that are still filled with water, and there's quite a bit of bird life around as well, which is great to see. So it's worth taking a bit of a walk down through the centre. You just got to walk along till you find a spot that you can actually climb down into the gorge, and then just go for a stroll and see what you find. I've been walking quite a way along the gorge, just checking the different water holes and sometimes finding my way up back onto the top edge. And it's quite a beautiful country out here. It's really nice compared to the harsh landscape that just lies just outside the gorge. But you never know what you find. Come across this here, an old toilet, perhaps from an old campground, and I saw there's another post up over here, so maybe it was back before the national park was gazetted, or just some of the locals' hotspots perhaps. But yeah, definitely worth coming out to Hellhole Gorge and just going for a really quiet walk. I only seen one couple out here today. They came in for camping during the night, but otherwise it's very quiet. Just the sound of birds. Very nice.
The yellow-footed rock wallaby is listed as vulnerable in Queensland. It only survives in small pockets within Queensland, New South Wales and South Australia. This rugged, rocky terrain is the preferred habitat of the rock wallabies. If you walk around very quietly, you may spot one.
if you're planning on camping at Hellhole Gorge, just know it's basically a rocky plateau with gravel on top. So it's virtually impossible to hammer in any tent pegs if you're sleeping in a tent. So you'll need a tent that's self-supporting, and also put some boxes inside that are heavy to keep it in place, because the winds can kick up pretty strong out here. There's very little tree cover outside of the gorge, so the winds have nothing to break it up. Also, it's currently beginning of August that I'm here now, and the mornings can be quite cold, and then by midday it's quite hot. So even today I was taking a nap around midday just because there wasn't much else I could do. It was really quite warm. I bet by summertime it will be impossible to come out here, other than maybe a day trip. But otherwise it is a beautiful quiet spot. There's loads of birds around in the early hours of the morning and late afternoon, so if you're into bird watching, check out all the gorge. And also some wallabies around. If you're really quiet, you might see a few rock wallabies. So it's definitely worth stopping in if you're in this region. It's time to get dinner ready, so I've got a nice roast going on. I've got some cauliflower, broccoli, sweet potato, Brussels sprouts, capsicum and garlic, and I'm going to throw in some stir-fry steak as well. So let's get the steak in. Throw in some peri-peri seasoning. Throw in some lemon juice. And I've got to grab the olive oil. And then just put the veggies in next. Throw the garlic in the bottom. Now the secret though to get this to work properly and cook thoroughly through in the shortest time as possible is to throw on some aluminium foil over the top and set it over so that it helps stew in its own juices. So the meat and veggies will be cooked in about 2 hours. It's not going to turn out like a roast with crispy veggies, but it's more like a steamed soft veggie, so it's still very beautiful and a nice change from having stir fries every night. So I'll come back in 2 hours and dinner will be on. Dinner is ready. Well, another trip's complete. Time to hit the road and see where I end up next. Well, I didn't get out of Hellhole Gorge completely unscathed. I ended up losing one of my light protectors off my IPF lights. It's not bad though for 12 years old.
Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Visit my website roamingtheoutback.com for Australian travel destinations, vehicle preparation ideas and gear reviews. If you'd like to help support the creation of new videos, please consider becoming a Patreon. Click on the Patreon button on the screen now. Thanks.